The worst year for a lot of us for our mental as well as physical health. So joining us this morning is best-selling author, coach Lisa Goldenthal.
Hello and welcome. I'm Lisa G, your host. You're at the top of your game, yet the game is changing faster than ever. Strategies that got you here aren't the ones that'll keep you here. The pressure is relentless, and the fear of obsolescence looms large. That's why I'm here. Welcome to the new podcast series, Disrupted: How to Be Gritty and Unlock Performance in Business, Mindset, Wellness, and Success to help you master disruption.
Thanks for coming, and I'll see you soon.
Today we have a powerhouse guest joining us on WholeCEO with Lisa G. She is the founder and CEO of Dip, a sustainable high-performance hair care brand that grew to 7 figures without Amazon, without paid influencers, and without compromising integrity. After losing her first company, she rebuilt from the ground up with values, proving that failure can be the catalyst for deeper purpose. She's a Forbes contributor, New Jersey's 2024 Mompreneur of the Year, and a trailblazer who believes business and well-being must go hand in hand, which is why I was so excited and wanted to talk to you. Welcome to the podcast, Kate Assaraf.
Thank you for having me. That's such a nice, warm welcome. I appreciate that so much.
I'm glad you liked it. I really was so impressed by you as an entrepreneur, mompreneur, and all the things, because I too, am an entrepreneur and I know how hard it is. Everybody thinks it's like, oh yeah, it's an overnight success, but they don't see the behind the scenes hard work it takes to get there. So why don't we dive into your story a little bit? And what was the turning point after your first company closed that helped you rebuild with more purpose?
For me personally, as my work was not finished after my first company closed. I think if you provide the heart and soul and the unscratchable itch that you want to put something into the universe, and maybe the first time it doesn't work out, I still was not finished. I felt like my purpose in my work was not done. And so I wanted to take everything I learned from the first business and treat it as like my very fast MBA and marry everything I learned into this next iteration, which is Dip.
Awesome. Well, thanks for keeping it real. I really appreciate that because I feel like failure just pushes us forward. It's just, as an entrepreneur, I've been there and I know that it just lessons. Like the worst thing is keep repeating them over and over again. So learning the lesson as an MBA, I love that. And as a mompreneur, am I even saying that right? I don't know. And
It's so
CEO,
tricky to say.
how do you protect your energy and stay grounded?
It's a great question. I've never been asked that before, but I think sometimes women, because we are capable of doing it all in every facet of our business, we forget that what can bring you a lot of peace is hiring someone to help you. And I know that like the motherhood part of my life is so important that I discovered it along the way in the first probably 18 months that like I couldn't do it all myself, and I needed to kind of break that perfectionism piece of myself and that captain. It's no point wearing a captain's hat if you have no one to steer, right? Like, so I had to hire people to help me. And I know that sounds like very obvious, but a lot of women CEOs that I know, there's a big gap. Like they don't want to hire people for things that they can do themselves. So I hired people and I found people that are actually better at the things that I thought I could do well. And that has given me a lot of my life back.
I love that captain line. Repeat that one more time because I love the first business failure was your MBA, and if you want to be a captain, you have to have people to steer. Is
Yeah, you
that
have to have, if you want to be a captain, you have to have people on your ship basically. Like you have to have a crew. Otherwise, you're really not in my opinion, and it felt weird to call myself a CEO if I had no one working with me. So, like you're really you have to break from this, this need to do everything yourself. And was one of those people, and I'm much more fulfilled and much happier having a very amazing team that I get to work with.
Same. I feel the same. I mean, I would have to say thanks to my first business coach who was always like, you have to have a virtual assistant. And yeah, you do. It's like, and whenever I'm talking about productivity and performance, I always try to say that real leaders choose what they don't do
Yeah.
ruthlessly. And then you have to either do, delete, defer, or delegate the rest. And that way you're empowering people. And then
Yeah,
you have more buy-in from your team if you're not trying to micromanage them and do it all yourself. So I love that. What
totally.
advice would you give founders facing failure right now?
That, your failure, everyone says it sounds trite, but it's an opportunity to learn. And I would again call your failure that MBA, because a lot of people don't fail at anything because they don't do anything, right? You're only failed at something because you tried to do something. That's like
Right.
a big deal. Like my son broke his arm skateboarding. He was trying new tricks, and I was like, and he was like, no one else has a broken arm. He's like the only kid with a broken. And I was like, that's because you are the only kid I know that's trying to, master the vert ramp and the ollie. Like you're failing because you're doing something. And I think that's something to be really proud of. Like testing different companies or skills or whatever. And maybe your failure is just this kind of blip, as it was for me, until you find the right path.
I love that. It's so encouraging and so well put because I think a lot of times, we're told in the beginning as entrepreneurs that all you have to do is follow my course and
Yeah.
90 days it'll happen. And that hasn't been the case for me, but it's almost like you can't fail if you stay at it. If you
Yeah.
keep just stay the course. So I really want to dive in a little bit more to your story and why was it important for you to structure DIP outside of the Amazon big box retail and influencer marketing type of program?
I think I don't know whether I'm alone on this, but I think people and consumers are a lot smarter than marketers give them credit for. And I think people are deserving of a world where they can touch and feel something in real life. And commerce was supposed to be like face to face where there's some accountability. I think we've kind of gone into this digital world of shopping in such a way where we've kind of distanced ourselves from like the social contract of shopping and what commerce was originally. You'd go into a store, you'd buy something, that person had to look you in the eye and like promise that it was good. But then we got into this, this digital, I don't want to call it a hellscape. Maybe there's a lot of digital pollution out there of fake reviews, people paid to say that they like something, algorithms really feeding you stuff, and competitors overseas seeing something's popular and making a crappier version of it and putting someone else's branding on it. So there's this whole kind of mess happening digitally. And so I wanted to go analog. I wanted to build a company that relied on human to human authenticity and also got people shopping in stores again, where products are vetted and the store owner has to like they try, for shampoo bars, they try 50 different shampoo bars and they stock dip because it's the best, in my opinion, and their opinion. And that's something that was really important to me. And I think that we're going to see a turnaround of people wanting to shop in store again because they're so frustrated by like AI customer service and not being able to like return something, or, having a human on the other end of anything that when they're trying to contact a company.
Wow, I love the way you're keeping it real and just talking about the things that nobody else talks about. This is like, as somebody who gets offered free stuff myself, it's like, of course you're going to say nice things about
Right.
stuff and leave a great review if you're getting compensated. And nobody talks about that aspect of influencer marketing and the whole phenomenon of having billions of followers and getting free stuff and, you know, not really having the values of, is this
Totally.
good? Is this good for the environment? Is this good for my values? Is this going to make a difference? So I really like the way you're doing things differently. So how do you do it if it's not based on the influencer marketing? It's not based on Amazon and it's face to face. Like how can you inspire others to do a similar thing in their path with what you're doing?
I think there's two things. One is if you're going into a category, so I went to plastic-free hair care, I wanted to make it the best of the best. So I've obsessed over making it really amazing. And then and everyone says that, but some people don't go through the obsession part. Some people want to launch something and launch something fast. I launched it slow. I obsessed over the new formulations and made sure they were beautiful. And then the other thing is you have to make sure that whatever you put out there solves a problem for people. And so, for example, our shampoo bar, like it's not just shampoo, it's shampoo that you can use every day. It's gentle enough to use every day. So if you are a runner and you are training for a marathon, you need to run every day. So you don't have to choose between your run and a good hair day with dip and with the conditioner. And you know what that is because you train as well. And so
Right.
this
I get it.
idea of not being able to shower and you have to go bun day and then hat day, you know, it's not congruent to life, right? So like you have to look great on your Zoom calls and for your podcast. And like if you ran that morning and you also ran the day before, like which day do you shower? It's tricky. And so dip solves that problem. And then the conditioner, not only does the conditioner work as amazing as salon conditioners, which is it lasts a full year for most people, and it also instantly detangles hair when you come out of the ocean or the pool. So the conditioner bar, you just dip in water, run down your hair, and you can air dry and go. You don't even have to rinse it out.
Oh my gosh, I have to get some of that. I just started paddle boarding again yesterday because I was kind of waiting till the summer end. I don't know when you
Yeah.
guys are watching this, but I'm definitely going to give it a try. Not based on any free gift, but I just have a couple more questions with you because
Sure.
I know I could talk to you all day because you're a really cool businesswoman. So, how do you
Thank you.
make decisions when like industry pressure pushes you in the opposite direction?
So it helps that I'm a little bit counterculture in nature. So I'm very, very skeptical. Like right now, there's an AI boom and AI is promising all of these things, but I don't want to be any AI guinea pig. Do you know what I mean? So
Oh yeah,
I, I never want to be first in any of those lanes, if that makes
got it.
sense. And that's kind of the opposite wisdom that people give all the time. They're like, oh, you've got to go like, do this, like fill out XYZ with AI. And it's like, no, I don't think they're there yet. And I don't, so I try and be very, very skeptical of literally everything that's put ahead of me. And that has helped me a lot. Skeptical and slow.
I love that. That is great advice because I know the hype is there. And even though I love AI and it does help
Yeah.
me in certain aspects of my life, and I feel like it's my friend, like it's hanging out with me all day. Um, I do feel like there's this pressure. There's like everything's on fire. You have to do it right now, or you're gonna get
Yeah.
left behind. So I'm glad that you
Every
can
day.
take a beat and slow down because it does improve itself all the time. And it's not the same thing today as it was like 2 months ago. So that's a smart decision. Okay, last question. And then I need to ask a few things about where people can find you and your awesome products and dip. So can you just share a moment when choosing integrity actually gave you a business advantage?
Yeah, I will actually say the choice to not be on Amazon. It's not a question of integrity if you are listening and you have a product on Amazon, but my products, I want to support small stores. So I keeping my products off of Amazon has actually enabled some of these small stores, independent retailers, to really thrive. So there's one store in particular. She sells between 50 to $75,000 worth of dip in per year in her store. And that is
Wow.
not a unique story. There's plenty doing 50,000 plus like independent retailers. Think of like a mom and pop shop. And for me, that is like a very, very important thing to be able to create a business that supports mostly women entrepreneurs all around the country. We're in between 400 and 500 retailers at any given time because small stores are always opening, and unfortunately they're closing a lot as well. But to be able to contribute to this livelihood of women entrepreneurs around the country it feels really nice. And I've noticed that sometimes when a brand that is sold on those shelves goes onto Amazon, it absolutely hurts their sales. And so you're kind of seeing this tug of war in how people shop, and people are now changing their values and changing, not everyone wants to see their small stores in town turn into urgent cares and spirit Halloweens. Like, they want them to stay open. So,
Wow.
yeah, I'm very, very proud to, sell less, but sell more in those lanes.
Well, it is just such a pleasure talking to you, Kate. I really enjoy meeting you and hearing your story. Where can people get to see more of you and Dip?
Sure. So if you want to talk to me, my name is Kate Assaraf, and you can find me on LinkedIn. I think I'm the only one. And then if you want to find Dip, it's dipalready.com. And if you want to find your closest retailer, click on the store locator. It's in the main search bar, and it'll pull up the store or salon closest to you. And then if you want to find us on socials, we're at Dip Already.
Dipalready.com and socials. Thanks, Kate Asraf, for being a great guest on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Lisa.